Good morning. Today is a new month, the 1st of July 2024, and hopefully the second half of the year will be a decent year so far. Before we start, let's take a look at the economic calendar for today to see what could move the market. We've got a Fed daily speaking at 2 o'clock today, and we've got some manufacturing index at 10:30, so that could move the market. This week's a quiet week by the looks of it. No high importance events apart from Thursday and Friday. Okay, so let's go back to the ES. Let's do that one, and we're looking at the 1 hour time frame for the E-mini futures. First thing that stands out, last week we were getting a bit excited when it finally broke out of this range. And lo and behold, not only did it break out, it came back in again. So we're back inside this range again, which means another day of sideways. So it's an inside day today. But there's something that does stand out. Potentially we've got a left shoulder, we've got the head, and potentially we've got a right shoulder forming. So let's see what happens today. We could be starting to see a bit of a change of trend. We've been in a bit of a downtrend for a few days. Broke the hourly trend line, and then we claimed it again, back in again, kind of. Until we get out of this range, it's going to be hard to find decent trades because we're just trading that range. So maybe we can play the extremes of the range, looking for rejections up here and bounces down here. You can see on Friday it came in right into that area, so hopefully anyone who's seen my levels took that area, 55.10, 55.15. It's an area we've been watching for some time now based on these pivots, and it came right into that area. Levels for today, look at that, and also on Friday it went right up into that area again, an area we've been watching since we hit that new all-time high back on the 20th. And I said keep an eye on this zone. The top of that zone is a higher probability. That's marking the high, and it came right into, look at that area there. So we can keep an eye on that area as well for rejection. So let's come up with some levels. So where are we now? Around here. So let's get rid of this trend line, because that's now broken and it's invalid. So all I can see at the moment is playing this range again. If we come back down to this region, 55.10, 55.15, we can watch that for a bounce. A break and retest over the pre-market high, 55.42. And then we potentially could watch for the rejection at 55.50, that area. And if we do break out of that range again, then we can watch for a double top up here. If we put in a head and shoulders pattern, then we can expect a bit of a reversal, I'd imagine, in that area. So let's watch for a change of trend. We've got a couple of levels we're watching. We just discussed that level and that level. So potentially let's look for a reversal within that zone between 55.42 to 55.50 or 51. And if we do break down and we put in the right shoulder, which we could have a smaller shoulder. This could be the shoulder we're looking at now potentially. I know we've got a bigger shoulder there. But this is the neckline, 55.10 to 55.15. So we can watch also for a break and a retest of that area for the short. We've got to clear Friday's low. We need to clear that before we can consider it. And if we do break down, we've got psychological number 5500 for a bounce. Area confluence as well from memory. Let's zoom out. So we've got right through the middle consolidation, we've got tops of pivots over here, and it's a big area. We've got this little area of supply, so that's kind of one watching 54.90, and then if we lose that area, we've got this area as well, which is a bit difficult because that's when we had the contract rollover. So it should be an area of confluence, it's where tops of candles meet bottoms. Oh, it's the worst straight line. So this area, tops and bottoms of candles meeting each other there. So we had a gap up on that day, but that's down to the contract rollovers. So we can keep an eye on 5500 psychological number, 5462, 5470, 5500 for a bounce. These are all bounce areas because we're still in an uptrend really. And then we can watch for rejection back up this area, 5580 to 5588, and then a break and retest long of the pre-market high. And potentially we've got this region here we can watch for rejection, 5550. And that's it. Notice how I've not drawn any levels today. All these levels are from last week. Even the pre-market high break and retest, I would put a level in there, but we're pretty much an area of confirmation. Of confluence. Got bottoms of pivots here, tops of pivots, tops of pivots, tops of candles. You know, looking at bodies of candles as well, where there's the most touches. And then we come down, we put in another top there as well. So no new levels, just levels we've been watching. So I'm watching for a break and retest long. Maybe watch for a rejection at 5550. And we can also watch this area for a rejection if we're going to put in that right shoulder. So this is the left shoulder, this is the head. Notice how the neckline is being pretty solid, and then potentially we've got the right shoulder being formed as we speak. It could come in, bring up to there and reject on today, or we may just see it go sideways and come back down. And that's it really. That's the only levels I'm really watching, same as last week, so quite easy. So let's take a look at SPY next. So exactly same as last week as well. We can watch for, we had an all-time high and then a lower high there, so potentially we could link that together as a trend line. Just get rid of this because it's now invalid. I won't get rid of it, I'm just going to reuse it. So that's kind of our trend line now. If you want to use the bodies of candles, you could use that pivot there, so this region, but I'm going to get rid of it because I don't want to clutter the screen up. So this is potentially not quite as clear as the ES, but we could be looking at head and shoulders pattern here. Neckline is this region at 542. So let's get some levels. First one, watch for a bounce up in the all-time highs region, 5550 to 5562 area. Look for a break and retest of the pre-market high, but we have got this area of confluence. It's going to be hard to go long into that area of confluence, so we can watch also for a rejection in that region. And maybe if we do take the pre-market high, we want it to put into some daylight in the candles. We don't want to see it poke through and come back. We just want it to push out. Take 15-20 minutes, half an hour or so, or an hour or so to come back down into that region before we look for the long. We can watch for bounces at 543 to 542.50 as well. This is this neckline area, or this bottom area of this channel, and this is a channel we've been in for some time, and we did break out on Friday and we came straight back down again there. SPX, again we're watching two levels. We're watching all-time highs. We're putting a new all-time high on Friday, which is interesting. That was Friday, yep. SPX put in new all-time highs and did an instant rejection. So we can watch that area again for rejection, and that will be a left shoulder, head, right shoulder play. And then we've got our neckline, 54.50. And look again, area of confidence, tops of candles, bottoms of candles. That line there was from last week. Before Friday, and look at that, it came right into it. So these levels are significant, and that was pretty much on the, bear in mind I don't really go into them with much position. I put the levels in by eyeballing them, and that was pretty much there. It's not a bad place. If you zoom in, you can see it's a few ticks away. So what I'm watching for today on SPX is rejection back up in this region. Oh, let's bring that down again. A rejection up in this region. Watch for bounce there, and if we lose that area, break and retest short. And then we got a bounce at 5400 down here, psychological number, and we've got bottoms of pivots. And then there is a gap to fill, this area here. So if we do get down to this area, we can watch for potential short break and retest short to fill that gap. And we've got the 200 moving average eventually trying to catch up, so it may just work out exactly where we need it to be. Next is NQ. looking a bit weaker and a more defined head and shoulders pattern than SPY. You can see that here, left shoulder, head, right shoulder. It depends where you want to start the neckline. So the neckline to me would be at pre-market low. So today, if we break below pre-market low, pull back, I'm looking for a short. And we've got our next target down here in this region. Got a bit of volume to the left, but not as much volume as up here, so acting as natural resistance. And I think that's it really. Still, it's an inside, is it an inside day at the moment. This is our Friday. So we need to break out, again, we need to break out of this similar range we've had for some time now. So once we've broken out of that, we can start finding some better levels. So just to recap, we're looking for a break and retest of pre-market high long, same as ES, and then the break and retest of pre-market low with a bounce down at 19,373. Pre-market low is at 19,919, which is, you can watch it down to 19,000 psychological number, and we've held that area 19,000 for some time. QQQs can make a new high, so we have got this hourly trend line, we could say a daily trend line. We can watch for it to break. Let's get rid of that one, we're not interested in that anymore. Again, potentially we've got a left shoulder, head. We haven't quite put in the right shoulder yet. So let's keep an eye on QQQs. We're holding the 200. Look at that. We came into the 200 moving average, right in that bit of volume. And if we lost that area, the lack of volume below, so we could have. There's a big void below. So we want to try and be in short if we get down to there. And we held the 200 there. Came back. We touched the 200 on Friday. We held it, almost held it, but we're still above it right now. So if we break below the pre-market low, come back up and retest that area, I'll be looking for a short. We got our first target at 747.88, purely because we bounced there and it's an area of confidence there, tops of candles and bottoms of candles. And if we lose this area, then like I just said, we've got this big void below. So we want to try and find a short in that area if we can, and with a target area of this region where we've got volume coming in as well. So it could be a big gap down at 461, and this is a bounce area we can watch. That's QQQs. Next up is crude oil. And then once we've gone through these last couple, then we'll just quickly look at the order flow. We've got a quarter of an hour before the market opens, plenty of time. Crude oil looking pretty strong. We held that level. We held that level for a bit before we finally broke out, came back, and now we've retested that level again in the pre-market or post-market. So I'm watching for a break and retest of pre-market high, which is around 82.26 through to 82.41. What's that level there? Let's just go back a bit. 82.41 is an area of confluence. So we've got kind of a rough area. It's not the best area of confluence based on the previous pivot going back to April. That's that pivot there, that's why we had that in. But a better area of confluence would be this region here, so let's just draw that in. Again, my levels are not precise, it's just me looking at the most touches I can see. There's lots of candles there, bottoms of candles, and then we've got tops of candles over here. And it gives us a target as well, so if we go into today, if we do find a break and retest a pre-market high, and we're trying to find an exit, we can use Friday's pre-market high as a exit, even though there's not a great deal of volume up in that area. But we've got 83.32 for a potential target, and we know that's a big area because that's that big area of confidence I just marked off. So loads and loads of bottoms of candles, tops of candles. We've got a volume shelf there as well. Okay, so that's it really for crude oil. Gold next. On a bit of a downward trend. You can see us flipping these channels. You can draw boxes around these channels. We can box that in. We can box this in. So we broke out of that area, rejected that area, back in again. So quite clearly defined levels. broke the hourly trend, came back, retested the hourly trend, retested the hourly trend. Now we've broken it and we're holding it. So let's just keep it up. We're right on the point of control as well. So this area is key. If you take out the trend line and just look at the localized pattern, we've got this head and shoulders pattern forming up here. So prefer to see an inverse head and shoulders pattern, which we're seeing also there. And that looks better because it's a reversal, it's a double bottom, and we've broken the hourly trend line, and we just need to break over pre-market high. So based on that inverse head and shoulders pattern, I quite like, and the fact that we are right at the point of control right now as well, and we're holding. Are we above it? No, we're back down below it. But if we break pre-market high, we can look for a break and retest long with a potential target of, so that the entry will be around 23.50, target of 59 or 79. And that's it. And if we come back down into this region, we can watch for a bounce again. We bounced there, got close there, bounced again there. And until we break this region, then we got to play the range. Okay, that's it for gold. Let's look at RTY, which is the Russell 2000. So we've got new trend lines. They're not quite, they're roughly there now because we had the contract rollover, so it kind of moved all the prices around, the trend lines around a bit. We've got this bottom reversing pattern, kind of curving around, as you can see there. And we come back up, come back in, retested that region, and then push back up again. Let me zoom in. So you can see how we broke the pivot, came back down, we retested this region as well, pushed back up. We've not been able to break that pivot, so let's watch for break and retest a pre-market high, and yes, and Friday's high. Really want to get above this trend line as well. So 2080 for break and retest long, 2054 for bounce long as well, only because we're at the bottom and we've broken the downtrend, kind of broken the downtrend, but we do need to get over this pivot. That's an area. Oh, why is that not marked top? That's a great area of confidence. So tops of candles, bottoms of all these candles, tops of these candles. That's another level we can keep an eye on. And as you can see, we've been sitting within these channels as well. And when we break a channel, kind of at levels, and when we break a zone, you can clearly see these zones are defined here. It's quite interesting to see that, because then if we break above that zone, we know we can be playing between that zone before we come back down in that zone, back up to that zone, etc. So levels, break and retest of 2080 of pre-market high, Friday's high, and that's it really. You could play a higher risk bounce, area of confidence now, tops of candles there, bottoms and tops along here. So we watch for a bounce at 2057 as well, down to 2050, yesterday's low. Let's look at YM, which is the Dow Jones. Again, doing something similar. We've put in, let's just draw the trend line in. So this is our trend line. I'm not the greatest fans of these charts, but we are playing these levels, you can see quite clearly. We've got volume shelf up here as well. Point of controls below, so we can watch this area for a bounce. So 39,200 down to 39, let's be a bit more accurate. 39,275 to 39,344 for a bounce. Area of confidence, we bounced already there a few times. And then let's watch the break and retest of, I would say pre-market high, but we've got a bit of volume to the left. And we really want to get over Friday's high. So let's watch a break of Friday's high, 39,800. With a potential target of 40,000. And then Bitcoin did see a bit of a sell-off last week, and interestingly we had this trend line in place. It sold off, came back up, so we sold off down here, came back up, put in a higher low, and then broke through our trend line. So let's watch for a retouch of that trend line or the Friday's low, and look for maybe a potential long. We've got this region we can watch for, about 62,000, and We had a level in as well. We could probably watch all the way down to, let's leave that there. We can probably watch for a bounce around 62,000 to 62,400. The tops of those pivots from Wednesday and Thursday. So this region here we can watch. And then rejection wise, we've got this area of confluence, tops of candles, bottoms, 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 and more tops there. 66 to 67,000 for the rejection, or a potential target if we're long. Okay, let's look at ES. Quickly flick over to order flow. We've got about 5 to 10 minutes. ES has not done much. We sold off, pulled back, and then sold off a little bit more. Let's flick over to my other screen.